Jeff Wilson started covering the Texas Rangers in 2008, though he'll never forget 2021. Out on his own, he decided it was time to do a podcast, but his wheels were spinning until a nerd came along. There's no going back now. Welcome to the Texas Rangers Baseball Podcast. Here's your host, Jeff Wilson, and the recliner nerd himself, John Moore.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Texas Rangers Baseball Podcast. This is episode number 36. Today, Texas Rangers right-handed pitcher Jon Gray is going to join us from Globe Life Field. Jeff, we got a lot to talk about this week, but how's your week so far? I mean, you're getting ready to travel.
I am. I'm going to go on the road Thursday, cover that Houston series, hop over to Anaheim, cover the Anaheim series.
All right.
I'm not going to go to Oakland and see the possum, unfortunately, the possum that's been running around the press box.
Well, yeah, I heard some of the guys from Oakland talking about that. So it was dead in the press box?
Well, there apparently was a dead possum Sunday morning in the TV booth, which is pretty cool. I mean, they're all connected.
Right.
And then after the game, one of them poked his head through like a hole in the ceiling. but then apparently on Monday was roaming around because the Twins TV broadcasters got had to leave the booth for the exterminator to come in and take care of business.
To get rid of it.
I'm guessing there are probably 1,000 possums / rats /
if you've never been to that Oakland Coliseum, you don't know what you're missing.
It's so
I've been
bad.
there.
And you know, a new ballpark isn't going to. I mean, it'll fix that problem, but
sure.
I don't know if it's going to fix the Oakland problem. But anyway, we don't need to talk about that.
No, and I don't want to talk about rodents. I had the whole skunk thing that happened. Both dogs get sprayed by a skunk that turns in. Friday night, we were at the game. Yeah. I go home 11:30 at night, got a dog door there. Dogs go running outside, come back in. They both got sprayed by a skunk. Let's just say it was 2:30 in the morning. My house still stunk.
Oh, yeah.
By the time we had gotten them cleaned up, all of that, we're just now back to normal. We're just now back getting out there. But we got to talk about this Ranger team.
Not skunks, not stinking right now.
No, not stinking right now. No skunks. They are 6-4 over their last 10 games. They've won 3 in a row. Yeah. And I tell you what, last night, first time they've come back after, is it the 7th or 8th inning when they were down? This inning. Yeah. What an 8th inning.
Yeah, you know, they had that chance in the 7th, and Eli White and Simeon struck out on 6 pitches, which they both chased during the at bat, and the Simeon when he made the out to end the inning, the crowd let him have it.
Yeah.
They did, and frustration has mounted obviously with everybody, I think, including him. I mean, that at bat, you could tell he wanted to get something done.
Sure,
but baseball's a weird game, man, and each game's unique. It's like I say it's like a snowflake. You know,
right.
Every game is different. That's why I like it.
Yeah.
I like it so much and like covering it so much. And the 8th inning happened, and it's so weird. I mean, it's a blooper that if the Angels aren't shifting Corey Seager,
absolutely,
it's the first out of the inning. It's an easy out.
Yep, exactly.
And then the second batter is Adolis Garcia. He's trying just to move Seager to third to get him in position to score the tying run. Turns into a hit.
Yep.
Turns into a run because the throw got away after Adolis.
We're tied.
Not knocked over the first baseman. No, didn't. Not intentionally.
No,
the first
it was
baseman
totally
stretched into the lane, and
absolutely.
Adolis tried to avoid him, and he felt like crap about it. But
yep.
And I guess what turned out, the ball hit Matt Duffy in the face.
Yeah, on the replay you could see that close, and
of
course up there you could probably see it too.
But anyway, that just kind of opened the floodgates.
Sorry guys, I've got a little.
A couple walks, and then Nate Lowe came up the bases loaded, had a big hit. They switched
Which
pitchers. Sam Huff first pitch drops it into right, and then White was able to redeem himself. Even the Brad Miller out was a productive out. I mean, he got Huff to second base, and so that White hit might have scored 2. It would have been a close play at the plate, but
right.
Of course, and that's probably what Brandon Marsh was thinking, and the ball just got past him, and was as over as like Eli was going to score.
Well, yeah, you got to think about that. Miller gets Huff over. Marsh probably thinks with Huff at second base, he's playing that to make the play.
Right.
He's got to prevent any run he can. He comes up, he does what every one of us who have ever played the game done. He just totally whiffed on the ball. That turns into another run because once Eli White turns the Jets on, it's over.
Right.
But we got to get back and talk about something real quick. We got to talk about Simeon. And I wanted to get into Simeon right now. It stinks for Simeon. Did you talk to him after the game? Did he want to talk?
No. the game took 4 hours. So we talked to who we needed to talk to, and he hasn't been shy about talking.
Sure.
He talked to me last week. Not just me. There was a group of people. I wrote about it at rangerstoday.com for $5.99 a month or $60 a year. He's a stand-up guy. He's a pro, and he's going to come out of it. It's just, it has happened at the worst time of the year, the very first month and a half of his very first season of a 7-year, $175 million contract. So,
exactly.
He's going to keep playing. I know you think, we talked about it last week, and you tweeted out again that he could move down in the order. I don't see Chris Woodward doing that unless Marcus asks. But you saw he has drawn. I know this is little, but he's drawn walks in consecutive games.
Yeah.
I think he so that kind of, he does swing at a lot of first pitches, but the fact that he takes a walk doesn't mean he's, it kind of contradicts, but counteracts the idea that he's pressing and just swinging at the first good pitch he sees. That's not the case necessarily.
Right, exactly. And you got to understand Simeon's game, and it's Seager's game too. They do like to ambush a first pitch fastball.
Sure.
They're both. It's kind of how they've made their living on that. I have said all along, you cannot sit Simeon. That's not going to help him get out of this. This is a guy that knows that he's earned the money that he's made. Right now, guys, you're looking at him right now and you're thinking he doesn't deserve this money. Look, you're literally weeks into the first year of 7 years. 2 years from now, we'll be praising Simeon when he's back to his normal self. And look at what happened to someone like Cole Calhoun, who was hitting 177. Now he's hitting 230. I've got it somewhere here. Calhoun's hitting 229.
He's probably their best hitter right now, him or Garcia.
Yeah, last 7 games hits 417.
Yeah.
And all of that. It just takes getting something going to do it. I do think the rain hurt him. I am not worried about Simeon. My point in putting him down in the lineup a little bit is maybe not as many at-bats every game, put him down there to see it. I am not a manager, and you're right with Woodward. Yeah. Woodward won't do it to Simeon because he's a pro, and he knows it. But Woodward impressed me last night in the fact that you guys that don't think the Rangers don't want to win, Taylor Hearn came out in the 5th inning, walked a guy, got an out, and Woodward said, you know what, you don't look like you have it. We're close in this game. He went out and got him with only, 70 pitches?
78, and it was actually a leadoff walk, and then Woodward came and got him.
Right.
Ohtani was up next, and you'd think left, it's a favorable matchup, but in the prior at-bat, Ohtani hit one 109 miles an hour.
Sure.
It was an out, but he smoked it. And it would have been the 3rd time Hearn was facing him. And keep in mind, at 64 pitches in the last start, he was removed because he said he was fatiguing a little bit.
Right.
And the Rangers thought the stuff was declining. So, a 14-pitch jump's a reasonable what you would expect in the next start. So there are a lot of things going on, and he brought in Matt Moore, and Matt Moore got 3 straight outs, and including striking out Ohtani. So it was a good a good move, but I don't think Taylor was being penalized. It wasn't punitive, but it was just what the game called for.
My point was in that is that there are times, and last season might have been a time when they would have said, okay, you know what, we want to stretch out a little more. You walk the first guy. How are you going to react to that? What are you going to do when wins were already off the table? They weren't worried about it. This year they said production's going to happen. Woodward said just exactly everything falls into place to steal what I was trying to say. Woodward's like, no, you know what, you're at 78. We've stretched you more. You walk the first guy. We thought we were going to try to get you 5 innings to see if you can get out of this and get 5 innings for the win. No, you walk the first guy. No, we are in this game.
Right.
So we're going to go get somebody because we are in this game. The Rangers aren't playing. I know this is an evaluation year, but it's not just an evaluation year.
Yeah.
They are trying to win ball games.
Well, and to your point, they had just gotten back into the game because Calhoun had just hit a 2-run homer to tie it. So you want to keep the momentum on your side in that situation. And, they ended up falling behind a couple of innings later. But anyway, that decision was not an issue in the game. If people are wanting to be critical of Chris Woodward, it shouldn't be over that one because that's just where that was what the game called for at that point.
Exactly. He did what I think a lot of fans this year that come in, they either think they're World Series contenders or they're cellar dwellers, or they think that the Rangers ownership don't care. Woodward doesn't, but that was, I know that Woodward has told us, this is the first time I've heard him say, it is about wins this year. We've got to win, produce, and do that. Going out to get Hearn was the right choice at that time because the pitches, like you said, but also we're not messing around. We got to stay in this game. We want to win the game. It's not about learning here.
No, well,
we don't need Taylor to learn.
It's about learning how to win.
Exactly.
And if Taylor or whoever is in that situation wants to stay in the game, don't walk the leadoff guy. And
exactly.
And I'm sure he knew where he was on pitches and that they're probably going batter to batter. And I know it's Mike Trout. All right.
Sure.
Holy cow. But, at that point you gotta attack. You're almost out of bullets. So don't, walk the guy, give yourself a chance.
Exactly. Okay. With that being said, Garver goes down to Frisco yesterday. He started out by the way, this is Wednesday for you guys that don't know, in case I don't know when this will exactly be out. But Garver's in Frisco last night. They've obviously put him out on rehab. They've said right now he's not throwing the ball. He's just going to DH.
That's right.
When he comes up, I'm assuming Huff's staying.
Well, yeah, they got to have two catchers.
Yeah, and that's it. And I'm going to get if you're going to guess what's going to happen there, is it probably an arm? They're going to go back down to 12.
Right. Well, they're at 14.
And they give 13
they can go to
the
13.
Top.
13's the max.
Right.
This until
the end of
May 29th, the max is 14. But regular rules will take place after that. As long as the rotation keeps giving innings
the way it is,
the bullpen will be fine. There's going to be the off day on Monday. That'll help. That'll get them to the end of the month. But the roster is a little bit complicated with Garver only being a DH. But and then the concern with Huff is he going to get enough at bats? And he's only played in 5 games, but he's had a hit in every one. I think
2 last night.
Yeah.
No, he's 3 last night.
Three on Tuesday. Finished that game batting .444. Look, I mean, I understand the need to get him reps, and I know they're very high on Jonah Heim right now,
who's playing great,
who is playing well. He's not, his average has come down a tick. You not only is he going to be playing maybe 3 in a row. I mean, that's tiring. But the more pitchers see him, the more they learn about him, the more exposed he'll get. But it's not a liability to put Sam Huff in there, and he's shown that. His first game it was on April 30th. He caught Dunning. It was Dunning's one of his best starts of his career.
Right,
and so it's there's not as big a drop off I think as the Rangers thought there might be, because I think Huff is acquitting himself pretty well here.
Yeah, and it makes it easy to look at Garver coming back, and you don't want to mess with that arm. It is a flexor. It's a tendon in the elbow.
Flexor, forearm. They're saying forearm flexor muscle strain in his throwing arm.
In his throwing arm.
So the right arm, and that area is, if it's damaged, it makes a person more susceptible to the UCL tear and needing Tommy John surgery. That's why when pitchers get it, they get it fixed. They go have surgery, and they're out 9 months. And the Rangers are hoping to avoid that. He hasn't thrown a ball. I think they're doing tests that maybe simulate that, but until there's no pain in there, he's not throwing. And if it gets to the point where he has to have surgery, if you want him ready for opening day next year, you got to do the math and backtrack in 9 months and all that stuff. He doesn't have to build up as much as a pitcher, so it may just be 6 months, but they're going to give him a chance to bat, because that doesn't cause any pain, and maybe in a couple more weeks he's able to start a throwing program. But I mean, I would conservatively say there's a month that he won't be catching.
Yeah,
I think month, and he may come back and play first base some, because first base you don't have to throw the ball a lot. A catcher throws the ball. He doesn't always throw it hard every
pitch. Usually.
Every pitch he throws the ball. He's in
every pitch. That's the way to put it.
We'll see about that. But him coming up, probably send down a reliever. I would suspect it's Josh Spores.
That's what I would guess too.
But Albert Abreu is also rehabbing right now, so there could be some moving parts. And And then there will be more moving parts when Leclerc and Hernandez are ready in June. So
yeah,
that's going to change everything. Like last night or Tuesday night, seventh inning, they're without a couple guys who had pitched multiple innings, and
Right.
Barlow had pitched consecutive games, so they had to shuffle some things. So they put in Brett Martin there in the seventh, who gave up the homer to Trout, the leadoff homer to Trout, and put him behind. In 3 or 4 weeks, that might be Barlow in that situation. It
Sure.
might be Leclerc. It might be Hernandez in that situation. It's just going to be entirely different.
Absolutely.
But anyway, things are trending in the right way. And if Garver comes back and can hit, that's a big help. You see Garcia, who's on the board behind me, what he's done since he had his conversation and off day Saturday. It's like they unlocked his mind and unlocked his swing and told him, go out there and be who you were.
Exactly.
And anyway,
which exactly was what he was sort of getting a little tentative. He was trying he wanted to have better at bats, which wasn't. We need that aggressive Adolis to attack when he attacks. I remember Chris was talking about that Monday, about that in pregame.
Right. So I mean, for a team that's started out 2-9, what's their record now today?
They are the Rangers right
19,
now
right?
are 16-19.
So they're 14 and 10 in their last 3 weeks, basically.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
Can't argue with that.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and you know what I do? One thing I like to do is every week when we come in here, I do the last 10 games and where the Rangers are.
Yeah.
Right? They're 6-4 this week in the last 10 games. Last week, I think they were 8-2 when I did it. In that, they were 7-3. I mean, so that's right in line with what you're talking about. Now, it could be 5-5 and doesn't mean they haven't won 3 in a row, depending on where you're at in the deal. The Rangers are playing right now above 500 baseball. They just won a series. Look, no matter what happens tonight in the Angel game, they've won the Angel series.
Right.
They're going to go to Houston, the other team that's winning that's at the top of the AL West. That's going to be a fun series to go to and see where they are. They're going back to Anaheim, which you're going to be there. That'll be fun to get some moves from there. I mean, you cannot complain how the pitching hasn't been the problem.
Right. It's been the offense, and really it started that second game in Philadelphia. Then they had the 3 days off and kind of slept walk through New York, and but they played well against Kansas City, and then Boston kind of came in and had the messy. There's the defensive issues there. There were a couple pitching hiccups there against Boston, but look, those things are going to happen. But
and this guy not being in the lineup is another detriment.
But the overall takeaway is, despite what everybody panicking after a loss like Boston or whatever, the 4-error game against Kansas City, the Rangers overall are playing really, really well, winning baseball.
It is a different team than last year in that I sound like a broken record. They are not out of games.
Yeah. One
Boston game, they were pretty much out of it when it got late and they got basically run out of there. But that's going to happen. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
That's going to happen to somebody. But I'm telling you right now, this team is never out of a game. They did it last night late, which is something they haven't done. You guys can't be too disappointed right now with what this team's doing.
Yeah, and Garver's getting healthy. It looks like Jon Gray, came out of his start healthy. We'll ask him about it here in a minute because he's ready to go.
Speaking of that, we're going to get Jon Gray on here, guys, and then when we're done with Jon Gray, we're going to go to down in the bus leagues. One more thing before we get out of here and get John here. Going to remind you guys, hey, we're going to start having some stuff on the YouTube channel, some interviews in Spanish. That's going to be fantastic. Get this out to anybody you know that speaks Spanish that wants to do that. That first video, one of our guys here, Joel Perez, interviewed Martin Perez. Great interview in the dugout. He's going to start doing that more. We want to get you guys involved on that side at least. We don't speak Spanish on here. That's our detriment. But you can go to that YouTube channel, watch those Spanish videos, and put it out to your friends that like it, because Joel's doing a great job for us, and that interview was entertaining. I didn't know that he made cheese.
Yeah.
And that was something that he made cheese, and Joel did that. But, guys, right now, Jon Gray's waiting on us. We're going to get to Jon Gray right after this. Okay, guys, and joining us now from Globe Life Field, it's Texas Rangers right-handed pitcher Jon Gray. Jon, thanks for joining us, bud.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, do they have you in a closet or something? Where are you?
It's like a big closet, I guess, but it's nice.
Well, that's, as long as it's a nice closet, maybe get some AC in there. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, how are you doing? You pitched Monday. The knee held up. You're pretty pumped up about it. So, just kind of what is your physical state as you see it?
Well, with how things have been, I feel like I haven't had much of like a season yet, but I think that's about to change. I think, things are feeling really good after my start. I kept the brace on and didn't feel anything in there. So it's feeling stronger and stronger every day. And hopefully I'll only need it for maybe another start or two and then get to be like the other guys and play, normal.
Yeah. Are you doing is there any way to strengthen it or make it better, or does it just need to rest? Are you
a little both, just trying to limit my side to side movement. And lifting and workouts, making sure I'm not really doing any kind of like twisting and turning on it. But there are other ways to strengthen it, and we've been kind of hitting those. And just getting in the training room, red light therapy, taking it easy, but it's working. It's paying off.
Yeah, I think people who've watched the games, this isn't a little brace. This isn't something you just go pick up at the grocery store. I mean, this thing looks like what offensive linemen wear.
It's like a big football brace, but and it kind of stinks. Like it's heavy. It's kind of in the way, but it's manageable. Like I'd rather be able to play with this on than sit out for another couple weeks. That would be not the way to go.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't imagine you new team opening night, you get a blister, and then you come back first start, ready to get rolling, and then the knee thing happens. How aggravating was that?
Super aggravating. Because I felt really good during spring. I had a good spring. Was working with some new pitches, and those are playing really well. But I didn't get the opportunity to kind of build off of each start. I didn't get to pitch every 5 days. So every time I got back out there, it was kind of like starting over again. So just trying to find some footing and really kind of start to sprint. But I think I'll get the opportunity now.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, next up, what's Saturday, right? At Houston at Minute Maid. I would, and then you guys will have an off day, and I don't know if they'll use the off day to keep you on turn or not, but I know players talk about how valuable off days are, but it would seem like as a pitcher, you would just want to get into that rhythm. I know you have to take off days, but you just want to get it and go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I lost you guys for the last 5 seconds. I didn't hear much.
Oh, it just seems like you'd want to get it and go, take off days, get into that rhythm.
Right. Yeah. And that's like, cause 5 days feels almost too long for me. I like to get on the mound as much as I can. And you start to remember more things about your delivery. I feel like when you have a long stretch where you don't pitch, you can kind of forget some of your strengths. Not that you're trying to, but there's only a few things you can think of when you're actually pitching. And, and that's constantly evolving. You're constantly thinking about new things, how to make yourself better, how to change things to not be the same. But, and that's kind of what I really want. I really want that kind of rapid fire.
Bullpen. How do you treat your bullpen sessions? Are you tinkering? Or are you just getting in there and getting work and
a little tinkering? Most of it's work, but a little tinkering. If I feel like a certain pitch was off, then that's really something I really want to like put my focus on. If a certain pitch was off from last start, that's something I really want to take care of. But other than that, I really just like to use everything. I like to locate. I like to not just throw a fastball away. I'm throwing up and in on a lefty or down and away to a lefty or up and in on a righty. I just try to be very specific and visualize hitters in the box and make it game-like.
How much has that changed? Not necessarily I guess your bullpen work, but like just the thought processes, all the data that's out there now, and the advanced, the scouting reports seem so much more detailed than maybe when you were a rookie, or even I don't know 3 seasons ago. How much has that changed?
It's changed a lot. And I remember when it first did change, it was always about low fastballs. And I remember, I don't remember what year it was, but everybody was pitching up in the zone. It was working. And you see a lot of that more now. Guys kind of, filling up the top of the zone with fastballs and letting their off speed play down. So that's something that was one of my first changes I made was, all right, I really want to be good at throwing to the corners up in the zone. And that's something I've done in every bullpen session since. And I think it's really helpful.
Well, it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like a couple years ago, there was and I think Darvish was kind of the poster boy for this, but a lot of hitters were hitting his sinker or hitting sinker balls and getting them out of the park. So I don't know if that's where the high fastball thing started, but it seems like this is a major adjustment to what hitters had adjusted maybe to pitchers.
Yeah, for sure. And things like that constantly change. I think they're definitely, 10 years ago, there were a lot more sinker ball guys, sinker slider guys. Now it's a lot of four seam. Can I get, and all these numbers like vertical and horizontal, can I get my ball to play up in the zone and then spin something off of that, tunneling, so much new stuff. But that's what, I don't know, it's what keeps it. It doesn't let things get old, like it's, there's always something you're kind of striving to obtain. And that's the kind of fun part of it.
Sure. Definitely the biggest change for you this season is you're no longer pitching in Coors Field. And I know that some people might kind of not understand the effect that pitching half your games at Coors Field has and half on the road. You've explained how much you would have to change just your grips, or even, I don't remember if you said your arm angle or whatever, but it just seems like you might be able to get a lot more consistency this year.
Right. Yes. And I felt that change in between Coors and sea level. I felt that change a lot with my fastball and curveball. At Coors, my fastball really played straight and it was pretty easy for me to throw it there. But when I would go to the road, it would be moving, like 10 inches across the plate. So, and so things aren't really, the muscle memory isn't the same. So you kind of have to take your sides and adjust them. And, I had to take two different arsenals. Like I threw a lot of curveballs on the road, and heavy slider too, but at home it was mainly fastball slider. I didn't really I threw changeups the last year, but it was mainly fastball slider and occasional curveball. But there were some things that played, some things that didn't, but that's something you got to figure out for yourself. Other guys were different. Some guys threw curveballs at home just as much as they threw them on the road, but I just wasn't one of those guys.
Yeah. I grew up in Colorado, so I kind of remember the first Rockies season was my senior year of high school. So I never became a huge Rockies fan, but always followed them. Just remember Denny Nagel and Mike Hampton, these big signees that would come in and just couldn't ever figure it out. I just, every once in a while you get a real good season, but it just seems like, man, that's got to be the hardest job in baseball.
Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, it's tough. Not only are you making those adjustments, but it's a big park, and there's a lot of courses. There's a lot of room for balls to fall in. That's what people don't really, or they see past. Sometimes they think about elevation, the ball flying, but it's really just the size of the field. Like there's a lot of things that drop in, even like the soft hits. There's a lot of room for it to drop, but that's something that kind of gets looked past. But that's what made pitching there so fun is when you did really great, when you shut down a good team there, you were, you knew it was because you're really good, not because you got lucky or anything.
Well, one of the most amazing things has to be that Hideo Nomo threw a no-hitter there.
Yeah.
I remember going to a game at Mile High Stadium, the old football stadium where Invesco is now. And Greg Maddux was right before the 94 strike. He gave up 3 infield singles. That's all he gave up. I saw Cliff Lee pitch in the postseason in 2010 at Yankee Stadium. He threw a 2-hitter and just dominated. But that Maddux performance, when you just kind of put everything as a context, it's the most dominating thing I've ever seen.
Because it's in Colorado.
It was in Colorado, and then he went 4 for 6 at the plate and hit a homer. I mean, it was it was pretty amazing. But it's just a tough job to have. So,
ball flies.
Yeah, but I know the Rangers are thrilled to have you. I know they gave you that great presentation, changed your slider grip a little bit, gave you ideas on how you could be better. So what's it been like? I know we talked about the injury, but since, let's say, the start of spring training to now, as far as getting acclimated with the team.
It's been really fun. It's been really fun. It's made the game a lot of fun. Everything feels so new and fresh. And I feel like I feel like we've kind of unlocked another side of like how I can pitch, I guess. And it's been a lot of fun to work with it, because I don't know what the limit is to this, but hopefully the sky's the limit with it. But it's a lot of fun to play with and to have new tools and, a great group with me. It's been nothing but a blast.
Well, and then the rotation is pitching very well here the last, I don't know, you can maybe go back a month. It just, the good starts definitely outweigh the hiccups.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We all know we got off to a rough start, but we're starting to look more like ourselves lately. And pitching staff's been a big part of it. Martine and Dane and Hearn and everybody's throwing up good games, and our bullpen's been pretty solid. And our guys are cranking the ball right now. So it's a really good combination.
All right. Enough baseball talk. Our usual deal is that I ask the baseball questions, and then John asks you non-baseball questions.
Yeah, I get to have the fun.
Yeah, I have to be the hard-hitting reporter, and John here gets to throw you the softballs.
Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna lob them up to you. So you're born in Shawnee, Oklahoma, Chandler High School in Chandler, Oklahoma. Did you play any other sports when you were growing up?
Yes, I played. I did a lot. I wrestled until junior high. I wrestled through junior high, or until junior high, and then I stuck with basketball, baseball, football through high school.
All the way through. What did you played football in high school?
Yes, I did. I played every year except for my senior year. I didn't play my senior year
because of baseball. You'd gotten so good at baseball.
Do you have cauliflower ear?
No. No. That terrifies me. I don't like that. But no, thank goodness I don't. No, I didn't do it that much.
I mean, wrestling's huge in Oklahoma.
Oh man, it's big. It's big time.
It's like Oklahoma, Iowa, Minnesota, Nebraska, and a little bit of Colorado. Like
Absolutely.
Wrestling is king.
It is. No, I know that for a fact. It's huge. Now, did you hit in high school, or did you just pitch?
No, I hit in high school, and I hit in junior college. I was a two-way guy in junior college for the fall, and then and when spring came around, I was just a pitcher. So, but I thought I hit pretty well in high school. I was really good as a sophomore, pretty good as a junior, but okay as a senior. I got kind of like worse as a hitter and better as a pitcher. So
it's worked out, John.
It showed me the way.
Yeah, you're good. You hit a few dingers?
Oh, in high school? Yeah, I hit a lot. I hit, I think, like 12 my sophomore year. I hit a bunch then. And
you're a big guy too, so
a handful the next 2 years. So it was a good amount.
When you weren't pitching, what position were you playing?
I was playing third base mostly.
All right. So that's athletic. You were athletic then. You were playing.
Get that big arm.
Okay, so people may not know this, but you were actually drafted 3 times. You were drafted out of high school, even 13th round, but in 2010 by the Royals. Then you went to the junior college, Eastern Oklahoma State, and the 10th round in 2000. So the next year you were drafted in the 10th round. You moved up there, and then of course you went on to OU, pitched there for a couple of years. 3rd overall pick in the first round of 2013. Here's my question I love to ask about the draft. Okay. In each possession from high school, junior college to OU, where were you when you got drafted, and how did you find out?
I can't even remember how I figured out I was drafted in high school and junior college. I think I was I want to say I was on the phone with my agent both times then, and then in college when I was drafted by Colorado in the first round, we were in a super regional. We were playing LSU. So our whole team was out, at draft night. We were having like a dinner, and they were announcing on TV. So it was really cool to experience that with the team. And we had a lot of guys go pretty early. So it was a big night for us.
That's cool. That's really cool. So now I know that. So you got drafted out of high school, which meant you were obviously recruited pretty good. You ended up going to a junior college. Did you do that because you wanted to be draft eligible again, or what schools were interested in you coming out of high school?
Oklahoma was interested in me in high school, but it wasn't not to the degree when after the junior college season, but that I don't think I was ready. I think that I was a small town kid. I was homesick. I still got homesick even in like high school. So junior college was it was kind of like a test for me, an extra year to kind of get ready. And but I made some improvements then, and I think I became a better pitcher there, and things progressed, but still wasn't ready then. Like I wanted to experience Oklahoma. I still kind of wanted to stay around home. So
sure.
It made the decision easy for me, but it wasn't as easy as the first one. It was still, I don't know. It was tough.
I get it. So let me ask you this. When was it that you first realized scouts are checking me out? So obviously in high school you got scouted. Was it your junior year, your senior? When did you go, man, there are scouts that are checking me out?
I think it was in between my sophomore and junior year. I played American Legion ball in Ada. I played for Ada. I played against JT Romito quite a bit.
Oh, wow.
And American Legion was fun. But that's when I kind of started to get more looks because our high school wasn't a big high school. I graduated with 84. So it was, It was kind of hidden.
You and
really.
My wife.
And but I think I want to say it was a lot to do with that. And I did do some travel team ball. Like I played in a perfect game series in Arizona in high school. A few things like that kind of helped. But yeah, it was a lot of it was American Legion.
Okay, this is another one of my favorites. Now we've had a lot of minor leaguers on here. We've had John Daniels, Chris Young, all of that. You're the second major leaguer. This is my favorite for a major leaguer. August 4th, 2015, you get called up to make your major league debut. Where were you? How'd you find out? Who's the one that gave you the great news you were going to get called up to the major leagues?
It was in I want to say I was in the PCL playing for Albuquerque against Fresno. And I just remember our pitching coach like sent me out to do charts or something. And I was doing chart that game, and they called me into the manager's office, and it was Glenn Allen Hill, who was our manager. And and I thought I screwed up the chart, and I thought I was about to get, so like, hey, you're doing this wrong, like, we're about to punish you or something. No, it was he sat me down and told me the good news, and I was really kind of in shock. I didn't really see it happening. I was prepared for it, but it wasn't on my mind at all. I thought it was just something small. So to hear that, it was great. It was really cool, and it really sped things up a lot. That whole week was really fast. And
so where did you go? Were you on a plane that afternoon or that next morning?
The next morning I was on a flight to Denver, and then pitched the day after that. So it was everything happened really fast. That's what I remember the most. And it just kind of seemed like it was here and gone. But yeah, it was quite the experience.
So when you get the call, they're telling you you're going to the big leagues. Tell us, who's the first person you called? Mom and dad?
I called my wife. I had to tell her because we were supposed to get married in Nashville when we were there. We were about to take a trip to Nashville, and we had like this wedding set up and everything. And I had to tell her the kind of the good news and bad news. So,
honey,
we made it work. And got us here to this day. So,
hey, Glenn Allen Hill, a little known fact, terrified of spiders.
So am I.
And but like apparently, as I recall, he had a dream about spiders, and he slept walk. So he's having this dream about spiders, and they're all over him. And like he fell down the stairs. I think he had to go on the disabled list. I have to go back and check, but it was like in the 80s this happened.
I think I think I've heard the same story. Like he fell through like a coffee table or something like that.
Yeah, something happened, but it was because of his fear of spiders.
That's
arachnophobia, right?
Yeah, what that look, I don't
movie
like
scares the
spiders
crap
either.
out of me.
I can pick up a snake. I don't mind messing with them. I do that. But boy, a spider gets on me and I start to, I'll freak out and scream like a woman. I'm not afraid to admit it. Those things, those bites can be bad. We talked to you outside the dugout that day, and now my son's favorite player is Jon Gray because of Rocket League. You're a big gamer, and Jeff wrote a great story about that. But you're not like a lot of these guys. You're not big into. I guess you would play Madden and some of that stuff, but that's not your thing. You're really into to the virtual stuff, and tell us about that. You're really into the video games.
Yeah, I've always been. Yeah, it's always been a thing with me. I've always loved video games. I played against. I had a brother that was 1 year older than me, so we were always going back and forth playing something. He was more into the sports games, and I was more into like this other stuff, the sci-fi. Like I'm a big sci-fi fan, so. Anything that's not realistic, I love it. I love the Elder Scrolls is like my favorite thing in the world. I love that series. And,
that's for the Mohawk, right?
Yeah. I hope to get a job with them someday. Cause I would love to work for Bethesda, but, it's always been a big part. I think ever since, pro ball, all my college buddies, we would always get together each night and get in the same party and play a game together. So it was a good way to kind of keep in touch with everyone. And it's also safe. You're not, when you're in a hotel in another city, you're not outside, taking a risk. You're inside having a great time, resting your body. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. And you're the one that told me it's one of the fun games I played with my kids, Jeff, was the Rocket League, and had a blast. And my wife and I were talking about John telling us that. And I said, John told us outside the dugout, you can upgrade and do, and Kevin, my son, was he was like, yeah, you can. You can do he knew all of that stuff, which was really cool. So couple more before we get out here. Now, besides the video gaming, outside of baseball, do you do anything? What are your hobbies? Do you hunt, fish, anything like that?
My wife and I like to fish a lot. We've always been big into fishing. We started fishing together in junior high and high school. So it's been our thing. And, but I just like to be outdoors in general. I like to work outdoors. When I'm just outside working on something, it's my place, it's where I like to be. So, I don't know. There's other things I like to do too. I like to go. Yeah, I love to golf. I like to bowl. I like to go bowling. I like to go to the movies. So there's quite a bit of things we like to do. Yeah.
Do you do your own yard work?
I love my own yard work. Yeah.
I love doing the yard.
I do too.
I love it.
That's how I work out. You didn't know me beforehand, but I've actually lost like 25 pounds because I'm a little fat dude, and I'm starting to lose weight. But getting in and sweating, I like to do that. I love
doing the yard.
I'm old and
my
feeling
time.
better.
Just get away from me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Last one before we get you out of here, John. I know you guys got a game tonight, and we really appreciate you doing this. This is a question. We've had some great answers, and so we've already found out a lot about John here on this, but it's what is something that nobody knows about Jon Gray? And let me tell you some answers. Brock Burke, who's coming on here next week.
Yeah.
He sleepwalks. Don't know if you know about that. You need to ask him about that. It's crazy stories about his sleepwalking and scaring some of his minor league deals. John Daniel, the guy that met and there. John Daniel has airplane underwear.
Yeah.
It's his he's got underwear that he wears when he gets on an airplane. And he has to have two pairs, one for the flight there and one for the flight home. That was something weird. Jack Leiter, minor leaguer. Don't know how much you've interacted with Jack. This is the weird one to us, and I hope you're not the same way. He can't stand peanut butter. We don't get it.
Yeah.
What is something that nobody knows about Jon Gray?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. I feel like
you're an open book.
No, we've already asked him a lot of neat stuff he's done. So it's okay if you're like, I don't really know.
I don't do anything. I don't feel like I don't do anything weird like that. At least I don't think so.
Your wife could probably answer that. Oh,
Well, here's one that I wrote about. He likes the original Star Trek.
I do like the original Star Trek. Yes.
Like over Star Wars?
Yes.
Oh, John.
He like
Star Wars.
William Shatner TV, not like the movie. The movies.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess most people probably already know. Like, I don't know. I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation, but most people know that. I feel like that's like the weirdest thing about me.
No kidding.
Oh,
okay,
there you go. He didn't know.
That is interesting. He's because you're from Oklahoma, grew up there, and you are say that again. You're a member of the Cherokee Nation.
Yeah, I'm a citizen. Yeah, I'm a Cherokee
citizen. Now,
yeah.
do you have family, I guess, that were Cherokee? So you got some Cherokee blood in you?
Yeah, I'm like, 10%.
Hey.
Yeah.
So
that's still awesome. That's incredible.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. Okay. Well, you know what? What did we learn about Jon Gray? He is 1/10 Cherokee Indian. He's part of the Cherokee Nation.
And I can speak a little bit too.
Oh, that would be cool. Now, do you have a grandmother or a grandfather or somebody that taught you that, or just growing up in Oklahoma?
My great grandmother knew it, but her sons didn't learn a whole lot. They kind of knew words, and so when I went to college, I enrolled in Cherokee to kind of learn more about it, and it's really cool because if you learn their language and how it's used, you can kind of understand them a little more. You can understand what they're about more and the way of life. So it's pretty interesting. It's a very, very hard language to learn though, because there's 26 characters in our alphabet. There's 84 in the Cherokee language. So there's quite a bit to learn.
Crud.
Well, I'm going to stick with English.
Yeah, but that is fascinating.
That's pretty cool, John.
That is fascinating. Okay, John, get back out there. I know that you got to get ready for the game tonight. You're not playing tonight, obviously, because you're pitching Saturday.
Though, right? Bullpen.
You got a bullpen you got to throw?
Yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
John, thank you so much. We appreciate you stopping down from us. We'll see you out at the yard, and good luck Saturday.
All right, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
All right, John.
That's Jon Gray, right-hand pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Thanks, John. All right, big thanks to Jon Gray, right-hand pitcher for the Texas Rangers, for joining us. But right now, guys, we need to go down in the bus leagues, talk about the minor league system and what's going on down there. You are heading to Houston, and you're going to go over to Sugar Land.
Yeah, on
Round
Thursday before the game, talk to a couple of Round Rock players. Hopefully Matt Carpenter, who, if you've been paying attention, is destroying right-handed pitching
right now.
And
yes,
appears to be in a groove. He's a total pro, obviously. I talked to Matt Hagan, the Round Rock manager, on Monday, and Carpenter does everything that you would expect the three-time All-Star to do on the field. Takes quality, the best at-bats on the team, and you would expect that. But something's working, and I don't know. He has an out on his contract June 1. Somebody's taking. I mean, people are taking notice. Even the Rangers are taking notice. So anyway.
That's a left-handed hitting guy that could play first base if somebody needed to get some stuff straightened out.
Yeah, I don't know that you said Nate Lowdown, though. But
no, but somebody else that could go down, that guy could step in and play a little first base and be a left-handed bat when Nate's look, Nate, I think Nate's going to be great. Nate's not hitting the fastball again. Last night was great. He got a hit, but anyway.
And something like that, maybe all he needed. Yep. But anyway.
Could be. Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the teams.
Okay, down east. Down east is low A. We know how this goes. Low A, high A, double A, triple A. Down east, they're 15-19, 5-5 their last 10. The names you got to watch down there are the same ones we've been talking about. Alejandro Osuna and Yossi Galan that you talked about.
Yeah.
They're still the two guys that are doing it. Maximo's doing okay.
Yeah.
But you know who just got their debut this week and just came up? Cam Colony
and Muller, and they started out a little cold, but they're finding their groove and got some
played
hits
3
and
games,
some RBIs.
Yeah.
And Yossi's cooled off a little bit, but he was so hot. But yeah, guys, they're just going to be streaky. And I found it interesting Tuesday night when I looked at the box score, and I haven't paid great attention to their previous games, but Max Acosta was batting 4th, which I thought was pretty interesting. But these are young guys, first time a full season affiliates. So
sure,
we've talked about it before. There's going to be ups and downs, but
absolutely
not some interesting names down there for sure.
Yeah, and when you go to the mound, obviously we were still talking about Kendrich, who's done well there. Yeah. You've got Dylan McLean's now there. Tell us about him. He's the draft pick,
4th round in 2020, left-hander out of high school in Oregon. He's skinny as a rail, so he's like the definition of a projectable lefty. They think he's going to grow into some velocity and some better stuff, but knows how to pitch. Good head on his shoulders, and Mitch Brad is there now, and he was the 5th rounder last year. So 3, 4, and 5 are at Down East, and he's Canadian. It is kind of interesting path to the draft because scouts weren't able to go up and see him,
right?
So he had to go to them, and he ended up playing in that prospect league, and he was a Florida State commitment, so he got a little extra money for that. But good kid, and he'd had like I think he had some shoulder stiffness or something in spring training, but it set him back only about a week, and obviously they feel confident enough to send him out.
Last name on there is the one I keep talking about. He's a little old for the league, but he's just somebody that's gone on the radio. It's Teodo, Eliano Teodo. He struck out 18 and 16 innings, throwing 100 miles an hour.
Right.
He's older for that league, but he's kind of got a late start, didn't he, or something like that?
Yeah. Well, and you can't really go by ages right now because everybody lost a year because of COVID.
Sure.
So it's a strange time right now. You see a 21-year-old, let's say, in high A, and you're like, oh well, or in low A, and you're like, geez, is he a little bit behind? And no, he's not. Everybody's behind.
Yep, exactly. All right, we got to go to Hickory. Hickory 17 and 16, 5-5, also in the last 10 games. Going from there, one guy from there that we need to keep an eye on, and we've talked about this guy. He is one of the top prospects in the organization, and that's Evan Carter and what he's doing. The power came this week. Look, he's going to get some power.
Right.
He is 19. He does not turn 20 till August.
Right. Late August,
and he's hitting 300. He's got an 881 OPS. He's hit 3 home runs this week or 2. They've said all along he's just got to fill out. I remember when I was 19, I could go kill 2 buffets in a row and not gain a pound.
Right.
And so this kid, and you've seen how skinny he is when we see him there. He's no fat. He's in great shape. He can run. This is a potential 5-tool guy.
Sure.
And it's starting to show why this guy's one of the top prospects.
Yeah. Well, and as we've said before, the foundation is his understanding of the strike zone.
Exactly.
And the Rangers thought that the high A challenge, because remember he only had 106 at bats at low A last year. They thought he would be able to handle the challenge, and he's not just handled it. He's flourishing in a league with players who are a lot older than he is, like his teammate Aaron Zavala, who played in college and also tremendous strike zone awareness. I think he's walked many more times than he struck out this year. He's starting to come on.
He's starting to come together. Yep.
So some good things are happening on that front. But I would be surprised if they don't both end up in Frisco later in the year.
Right. No, it's going to be a little while. But
and Carter needs at bats.
19-year-old in Double A,
and he really has to make sure that they can handle that situation there.
19-year-old in Double A. I really think he'll be here before his birthday. Before he turns 20.
Maybe.
That's a good chance. On the pitching front, Vanasco's going tonight. It is Wednesday. Mark Church seems to be the guy that still everyone's talking about there.
Sure, good reliever. He was the reliever of the year in April in the system, and they're going to start stretching him out a little bit.
Yep.
See if maybe he can handle starting. TK Roby has struggled a little bit.
England, White, yeah.
He's trying to get his he's at his best when his fastball's up in the zone. The problem is that as you go higher and higher, hitters don't swing at it. So he's got to find that fine line of where the top of the zone is as opposed to people's wheelhouses. So
I'm not concerned about any ERAs in high A.
Right, especially for a guy who I think he's 20 maybe, and barely pitched it at Down East last year.
Well, Owen White, who's scuffed a little bit lately, but Owen White's been the star on that rotation so far.
I'd say Englert has been.
Well, in Englert, his numbers are good right now too. Who was on the show a couple weeks ago.
Englert's doing very, very good.
Let's go to Frisco. Frisco's 20 and 14, 5-5 in their last 10 games. Ezekiel Duran has just found it. I mean, this kid is slow. I think everyone's thinking Josh Smith was the better of the two. I mean, some had Duran over Josh Smith, but Duran's all of a sudden found it. He's found his pop. He's hitting 303, a 928 OPS, 6 home runs. Second on the team with home runs. I've heard it over and over from some scouts and other people that follow him. The ball comes off his bat hard.
Yeah. Well, he after the Rangers got him in the Gallo trade, he went to Hickory, and his numbers weren't great. I mean, they weren't awful, but they weren't what he had been doing in the Yankees system. I think Hudson Valley
Yes.
might be their high A affiliate. But Michael Young told me, others have told me, the guy is going to hit. He's a great hitter.
Yeah.
And he's a lot more versatile than you think. He can play second, short, third base. He's probably going to have to learn to play the outfield. But there he is.
There he is.
He had a very nice spring. He had an impressive home run in a spring game off Brandon Woodruff of the the Brewers pitcher. So this guy can play, and great story too. Didn't sign till he was 18. He was from a small part of the Dominican Republic that doesn't get scouted very heavily. Hard worker, kind of a self-made player. It's a good story.
Yep. And also on the batting front, you got Harris, who's come on pretty good.
Sure.
Hit another home run last night. Foskew's doing well. Foskew's hitting 314.
Yeah.
He's only played in half the games that they have.
He had the back deal.
The back deal. He's hit 2 home runs. On the pitching, of course, everyone's going to talk about Leiter. Did not have a great outing last time out.
Right.
I think Leiter's problem right now is getting adjusted to not college hitters. These are professionals that in Double-A a little more selective. He's walked a few more. Maybe the zone's not where he likes it as he's figuring it out. I'm not worried about Leiter. He looks dominating when his stuff's going.
Right.
So it's a matter of harnessing and figuring out
Sure.
how to deal with it. And they're keeping him on account. I think he's not going over like 70 or 75 pitches right now.
Sure.
And why would you? You're not going anywhere. We still got to talk about our guy Chase Lee. That guy. What else he got to do? I mean, he's got to be going to AAA pretty soon. I
don't know. I mean, he's not pitching a lot though. That's kind of the interesting thing. But yeah, he hasn't given up a run.
Yep.
And he came here in studio, so he's always going to have a spot in our heart.
Absolutely. And I think he's on his way there. Cole Reagans, who was on the show last week, also doing well. He's got a 2.79 ERA. AAA, a little different. Our guy right there, Matt Carpenter, got a note about him. If you saw the way Matt started and where he's at now, he's hitting 275 with a 991 OPS, and he's got 6 home runs.
Yeah.
This guy is trying to force everyone to look at the roster now. That guy could be like a Cole Calhoun, another name in there. And I know Cole Calhoun is playing well now.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's Cole Calhoun in that locker room or in that clubhouse. He is a leader in the clubhouse. You see it. He talks to the young guys. He gets them in line. I saw him do it on the field. Sam Huff came over to say hi to us one game. Calhoun yelled at him, kind of a jerk while he did it, but he was like, hey, what you talking to the media? Get out. He was telling him to do his stuff. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I like a veteran that does that. Now that he's hitting well and playing better, it's good that you're doing something like that. Matt Carpenter, 3-time All-Star, like you said, you can't ignore what he's doing.
Yeah. That Cole Calhoun thing reminded me of an interaction I had with Mike Sosha one day, and a Angels reliever who was a rookie, and he was talking to me and hadn't even gotten dressed yet, and Mike Sosha came out of his office there in the Angels clubhouse and said something to him, and I was like, all right, I'll see you later. But anyway,
yes,
but that's keep the young guys on their toes.
Yep,
they're young guys; they got to learn. But Carpenter has an out on his contract. We just talked about this, and so it'll be interesting to see. And then obviously it'd be a great story. The TCU kid,
right?
Lives in Fort Worth, and he signed with the Rangers for those reasons. So to actually get to play a major league game with Rangers across his chest would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So again, the other two guys that have done well, they've come back a little bit, but you've got Tavares at 328, Thompson 323. Yeah. I think Tavares has slid just a little bit there. Calhoun, who got demoted, only hitting 212 since he's been there. He's hit 1 home run. He is down that list of anybody. It's going to have to take injuries, I think, to get him back.
Yeah,
I
wrote a notebook, a minor league notebook, posted it yesterday at rangerstoday.com, $5.99 a month, $60 a year.
$60 a year.
He's open to he hasn't been a turd. He's gone down there and he's working and he's open.
Good for him.
Open to suggestions and everything. So they have so many outfielders there that it's a little hard to get at bats, but he's working at least, and that's good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Cole Winn, he's scuttled a little bit lately, but that's another guy. They just got to get the innings going. Still a guy I think that has a chance to come up later in the year and get some starts once he gets going. A little concerning, strikeouts are down. He's normally above on strikeouts.
Well, the bigger concern is his walks are way up. If you look at April and May, his numbers are, I think, through 3 May starts, he has 16 walks and 5 strikeouts. And in April, he had 15 strikeouts and 5 walks. So maybe trying to do too much, trying to make an impression, but
and AAA hitters are a little more selective too. So
sure. So, but I wouldn't worry about that.
I don't worry about when he's young. He is not. He's knock on glass or wood, he's been healthy since he got drafted. He's progressed just how you're supposed to every league. Yeah. He's done well at every league going up. I have no doubt he'll do good there. I mean, you still got Jake Latz and some others there that are potential names, but right now Wynn's the one we're watching because I think that's a guy that come up. Maybe Arihara could do a spot start. That's someone that he's not going to stay up.
Alexi had a good start.
Yeah, Alexi.
Tuesday to kind of reverse a pretty bad trend. I think he entered that start with a 7-something ERA. Again, these guys are just trying to do too much.
Yeah,
and they just got to, there's a reason they got to AAA. They just need to keep doing that.
Yeah, and those guys, but besides Arihara, those are guys that serve a purpose. They're spot starters. They come up and get a start for you and get out of there, especially in a bind. Guys, anything else before you get out? You're about to get on a plane tomorrow. And are you driving down to Houston?
No, I'm flying.
You're going to fly down to Houston and go do that. Have a good trip. Ball game tonight, last game of the series. Anything else before we get out?
Nope. Just remember to subscribe to
the YouTube channel.
The YouTube channel.
Subscribe to
RangersToday.com.
And don't forget to tell your Spanish-speaking friends about the new stuff coming out on the YouTube channel. Until then, guys, we'll see you next week. Or we see you at the yard.
And next week.
And we'll see you at the yard. Thanks, guys.